year and a half ago, I decided that I was going to take a big fishing trip for my 60th birthday. And I wanted to fly fish for fish that I had never caught before. I was going through a magazine and found an article about the Seychelles, the outer atolls, and Cosmoledo.
The first time I came I was invited by Keith Rosinas. So we kept in contact and he said, "You gotta come out here, Rocky, and try this out." And I said, "I'm in." It was a phenomenal trip. It was completely different than the trevally fishing I had before.
I read about it, I heard about it, people talked to me about it, and I just had to come here to see what it was all about. It's like something I've never experienced.
It was an amazing experience just to get to Mahe and then to get on that flight to Alphonse, to get to Esto, take the boat over. All this anticipation was building the whole time. Getting here that night, having a meal, meeting everyone, knowing the next morning that I would be on the water, and finally getting a chance to do this after more than a year of anticipation and preparing.
Right now, Cosmoledo Lagoon is one of the islands in the what we call the Aldabra group. In the Aldabra group, you have the Aldabra, Assumption, Astove, and Cosmo. So Cosmo, we're 560 nautical miles from the mainland, from Mahe, direct. And yeah, that's pretty much the furthest we can be away from the mainland, from Mahe.
It's like you landed on the moon, You literally get here and you're blown away. You're just out there, and the thing about Cosmo is you're here, and there's nothing around. And you look around, and even if the fishing's a little off, or you're in between tides and it's kind of, tapered up, it's the most incredible place you've ever been to.
Cosmo has got the biggest population of geets in the Seychelles here. I mean, that's offshore and on the flats. You can fish for them. I mean, you're looking for fish all day on the flats here, and you can see up to 50, 60 fish in a day here. Most of the time you're looking for them on rays, multiple fish on rays. And a lot of guys just come out here to fish those blackfish on the rays. And that's awesome to watch a fish come off on the white sand. Here's a ray. It's got 2 geets on him. Okay, blackfish. Okay, make a shot. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, put it down, put it down. Okay, wait for him, wait. Okay, strip. Yes.
Yeah, baby!
Yeah, I mean, Cosmo, sort of the GT capital of the world, but there's a lot of other things to catch here. There are massive bonefish. I mean, you guys have seen the bones we've caught. I mean, on average, some of the schools are going to be 6-7 pounds each, and that'll be your average fish. And then the trigger fishing as well. The triggers, there's so many areas where you can fish them on the pushing tide or even on the dead low tide, and different situations as well where you're fishing the fish off the boat and they're eating your fly at the rod tip. It's really cool to see. When it's quiet, there's not much going on. We tease outside or just pop. So I mean, as well, teasing outside, you never know what you're going to catch. There's yellowfin and wahoo and sometimes even sailfish coming up.
Here he comes, come on. Set it down, set it!
So it's really cool to see them, what hits their teaser. Even the dredging side of things, if things go quiet, we like to send a bit of dredging lines down and see what we can haul up. And permits as well. There's some massive permit that live here. Obviously they're perms and you've got to search for them, and they don't often take your fly because they're very tricky.
The permit, you have to get some passion with the permit, because sometimes you put your fly on that side, like where you're fishing, and then you just change way, and you have to sweep a bit slowly. Sometimes you have to sweep slowly and long sweep. Sometimes you have to stop when it's coming. Sometimes it just coming straight on it. Take it, you know, and set the hook and let it rain. And after that, you know, don't put your drag too strong, you know. Even no drag, you know. Just make sure you really don't spin like your line, you know. And just take time. I'm going to use the net to land that permit and then have to throw the net away and grab it because it's really get tangled.
You want it to hide under the net or something. Yeah.
A permit will drive you crazy. The permit is never enough, you know. You can catch 20 permit, 30 permit, 100 permit in your life. It's never enough. But a jeet will always be the one that you're gonna come, you know. Everybody bring a 12 foot. You bring a 12 foot for one reason. It's just for jeets.
You know, one morning you go and you're up on a flat looking for bonefish, and the next thing you know, the guide's saying, drop the rod, and you're like, drop the what? Drop my rod, and you literally throw your rod in the water, and next thing you know, you got your 12 weight in your hand, and there's a GT, you know, cruising up the flat, and you're just trying to put a cast in front of it. You know, you went from fishing for a school of bonefish to throwing it a 80 centimeter, 90 centimeter, 100 centimeter GT swimming up the flats that you get it in front of him and it's just on. It's just on. He comes after it and you're just stripping as hard as you can. You're watching your hand to make sure you grab the line and it just explodes and just all hell breaks loose and you just focus on what you're doing and it's insane. It's crazy. It's the coolest thing ever.
GT fishing himself, it's patient, especially if you're looking for fish like over a meter. You're hunting them, you in the territorial, you have to think the way they think, you have to move pretty much how they want to move, and you want to be quiet, you cannot disturb them, stay in their own nature, and when it comes, it's gonna give you one shot, and they not easy come downwind. They always come in the wrong direction for you to cast. You know, you gotta struggle to get in. So walking the beach, it was pretty much late in the afternoon. It was the last move of the day. There were never two silver fish, but like closer to the beach themselves. So we start stripping, and one of those fish saw the fly. He actually reacts straight on the fly and he's coming to eat, but he was like running out of water, so he comes sideways and turns sideways to eat the fly. So you can imagine how a fish can hunt in shallow water, turn sideways to kill something that he wants to, you know. It's jeets, when they want to kill something, they come in, you know.
Nice making a surf like this. Bam, out of surf.
If you see him, he's on the flats, he's hungry, you put your fly 2-3 meters in front, a rod length, 2 rod length, you see it, he's coming, you know it's gonna eat. You know, if you miss a strip, it's gonna stop. That fish can come like 100 miles an hour and you miss one strip and that fish just stop anytime.
And obviously, clearing up the extra line and get out on the reel and start fighting the fish, that's the next level. But I think the exciting part for me is to actually while you're stripping and he's charging the fly and attacking it, that's very powerful, and you've got to do the right thing by setting up that hook properly, not lifting a rod, for sure.
He is so ferocious. It's ferocious.
Anything that moves yard, anything that he wants to kill, it's gonna die.
Just a pissed off monster. They're incredible.
GT comes in and he sees something moving, it's gone. He's all over.
It's a brutal moment, and that's kind of what makes it so special.
Here comes there's a big jeet coming, Kate. Put the fly down. Put it down, it's coming.
When you make that cast and that fish turns on your fly, it's electric.
I feel like when you set the hook on other fish, you pull and you do that strip set and you feel like you actually gain something from the fish. Like you might get that first inch on the fish. I think on a GT, you don't get that first inch. That fish hits and you strip and all you're trying to do is pull that hook in. But that fish, the second it turns, it's got you. It's going where it's gonna go.
You react and the thinking goes away. Your reaction just must be quick, and then you feel, and when you feel the weight of the fish and the resistance on your line, and that line starts to go back out through your hand, and you're looking to make sure that you're not caught on anything like your feet or around your reel or all that stuff, time slows down for a second. And it's all, you're living in the moment.
I have so much respect for them. They're such a cool fish.
By the time I got that fish in, I had to sit down and take a rest. It was tremendous.
It was incredible. I wasn't expecting to be that cool. I'm hooked. I'll be back.
It was a magical experience. I loved it. So from that moment, I was like, okay, this trip can be over now. I caught my GT. That was great. So that was my first experience with GTs. It was terrific.
I will put them on a flat on top of the food chain.